Hi, it's Gretchen, and I wanted to show you a little bit about the matte preset and the effect it will have on different kinds of photos. So I just picked 4 different photos here, and we're going to show how the matte effect looks on each of these photos. This one's pretty bright. This one is kind of in the middle. It's just a snapshot of my girls and I doing spa day in my living room. This one is pretty dark all throughout. And so you'll see what kind of effect it has. And this picture here has a lot of details in the shadows, and so you can also see the kind of effect that it's going to have. So let's go back to this first one. And I created a really gentle matte preset here, and I'll show you what it looks like. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and click the before and after so you can compare the before to the after. Okay, so this is a matte preset that I just made up for myself. It's a very, very subtle one, and you can see that it really didn't change too much. It changed a little bit here in the shadows, and that's where the matte is mostly going to have the most effect, is in the shadows. And you can see most of the shadowy area I have is in the background, is not an important part of the photo, so it's not really affecting anything that we really care about seeing. I mean, it's giving it a little bit of a matte effect, but it's not super ultimate important. And the place where the matte effect takes place is right here, right in this area right here. Okay, and I'll show you how to change that later. Okay, so let me zip over here to a picture like this. Okay, so this is a picture, and I already increased the exposure a little bit. You can see here. But what's going to happen is if I apply a matte, it's going to make it look even a lot duller. You see, because a lot of the picture is in shadow to begin with, that's where we're going to start losing some of the detail. Let me show you one, and my matte preset that I have is a pretty subtle one. Let me show you this other one up here. It is a matte preset. Let's see, here we go. Look at this one. This is more significant. And see, look how much goes into shadow there. That's where you start losing a lot of detail. And matte processing is really pretty on a lot of photos, but when you have a photo that has a lot of dark detail, then you're going to lose a lot when you lose a lot of that shadow, because what you're doing is you're crushing the ultimate blacks into the dark grays, and so you lose that really, really dark black. Like right here, you lose all that because it gets crushed into the same color as what everything else is in the photo. Okay, so that's, sometimes you might hear people say, I'm going to crush the blacks. That's what happens. It means they bring the blacks up so far that they meet the dark grays, and that's kind of how you get that matte process look. Okay, so here's another example of where I have a lot of detail in these shadows here, and when I click the matte processing, look what's going to happen. See, I lose all of that. I lose all that detail. I mean, it's still a pretty photo, but you lose a lot of that detail, and you know that might be a look that you want. That's okay. It's up to you, but it's not right for every single photo. And so in this photo, if I brought up the exposure any, I'm going to lose a lot of that detail in the sunset. See, watch. Let me bring up the exposure a little bit here. See, as I bring up the exposure, it kind of loses some of that punch. I don't really want to bring the exposure up any. I like to keep it dark and keep that sunset nice and rich. But then when I do that, then see all these shadows here are gone. So in a picture like this, the shadows are important. I don't want to lose them. Like in this image, that's where I did the preset originally. That was the gentle one. If I did a little this other matte preset, again, see, look. See how in the background a lot of these darks get crushed, but it doesn't really matter because the main thing that's important here, which is the subject, she doesn't have very many dark shadows, so it's okay if the shadows get kind of crushed there. And just to explain to you what's happening with the matte, it's right here in the tone curve, okay? And if you wanted to take your own photo and make a matte process out of it, here's what you would do. This is what the curve looks like to begin with. Okay, and then you're going to change your point curve. Right up there. You're going to change your point curve to not linear. You want it to be a custom. Can't remember how to do that. Point curve, linear, no. There we we go. Okay.
Is this
so you
a
get
game?
It, no, it's a video I'm doing, honey. So you get it so that those little, all those different sliders are gone. And then you can pull this up, this little corner. You're going to pull it up and watch what's going to happen. Your histogram here is going to change, which means your black threshold is going to be brought up towards middle gray. Okay, watch. And that's how you get that matte process. And the further you bring it, the further matte it's going to give you. And then you can bring the curve down like that. And just keep adding points. You can always use a preset, but you know, this way you can create your own if you like. And that's how you get that matte preset. Okay? All right, I hope I helped you a little bit with some of it. So the answer to the question of is, you know, like, should I use matte or should I not use it? My feeling is that if you like to do dark, moody images, you're going to lose a lot of the detail in the shadows. So maybe matte processing isn't for you, or possibly just a very light-handed matte process. The other option would be to start shooting images that are brighter. But if that's not your style, then maybe matte images might or might not work. It's up to you. But I just wanted to show you kind of where they're coming from and how to know what kind of photo works well for matte. Hope that helps. Bye.